YouTube, what's good? See you later gaming here. Welcome back to another episode of the Game Lounge podcast, this time for February 2022. Rocking with me today, as always, is my twin co-host with the most, Eeenaa. Can I get your opening statement, please?
Yo, what up, guys? We did it. We officially beat NFTs. You're welcome. We all did it. God bless.
Taking them down one NFT at a time. My opening statement is brr.
Oh.
That's it.
Underbambable. Have a nice day.
Taking like the simple approach this week. To get right off into it, we're going to start off with what we've been playing. Eeenaa, take it away.
Yeah, sweet, man. So, I've been playing some Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS5. Yeah, look, I mean, just because the PS5 is powerful enough, it kicks it up to 60 FPS, so it's playable.
Nice.
And it's actually good. Like, I haven't had a single bug yet, like at all. And like, the only like real thing that I like can notice compared to like when I was playing it on PC is like, yeah, the textures are definitely like lower res, and like the draw distance is definitely shorter for sure. But once that PS5 upgrade comes in, baby, oof, I think it'll be fine. Because right now it's currently running on the PS4 version. But I mean, since I don't have a computer, I was like, man, I still have a hankering for playing Cyberpunk, and I bought it like in the sale, like at Christmas, when it was still like, I don't know, something stupid, like 70% off or something. So just doing another playthrough of that, but this time instead of being like sniper boy, this time I'm going like pistols and like a crit build.
Nice.
So yeah, that's been good fun.
What class did you start off with? Not class. What storyline?
Oh, I went Nomad again.
Same one.
So on PC, I went Nomad, and then I went It's so funny. I don't know what the normal name is. I just call them street rats.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called officially, but I just called the street rat life path.
Nice.
And then started up a corpo playthrough where I was just a big old bitch.
Nice.
But no, on this one, just kind of like, honestly, like as if I'm playing it through the first time again, like how I would. And Nomad speaks to me, even though there's not much of a difference. But you know.
Very cool. So this, because you originally played it on PC?
Yeah, so, and once again, didn't have any problems there either.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess it was just my PC's config was blessed.
That's it.
So, yeah, the only two glitches I had was occasionally my character would T-pose in a car.
Nice.
Like very occasionally. And then the other one was I would try and hop through a window in a main storyline mission, and it would send me to space.
The two most dangerous things you can possibly do: drink and drive, T-pose and drive.
You wouldn't T-pose and drive.
Love it.
Yeah. And then I've been playing. So for those of you who are in the know, I've been like doing like a game preservation, like a self-gaming preservation project where I'm like buying all my old consoles that I used to own as a kid, when I was too dumb and traded them away. So I'm like slowly reacquiring all of them. And I've been playing on the DS Drawn to Life, which was my very first game ever in DS because it was included in the bundle for the DS Lite.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I want to play Drawn to Life again. So I bought it on eBay. Whole $7. I'll tell you what a heater. I've been playing through it, and it's still gas, man. It's still sick. I'm like, yeah.
Because that was the one where you'd use the stylus and hand draw, wasn't it?
Yes, you would hand draw like different elements.
Yeah.
In the game itself. Yeah, Drawn to Life was absolutely sick. Yeah, it's been such a blast from the past because I'm surprised at how much my subconscious remembers. Like, I'll be playing it and I'm like, I remember this. Like, it was yesterday, but I haven't played this game in over a decade.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it's so wild. So yeah, I've just been playing Drawn to Life, and like But this time I'm like actually okay at drawing. I'm not like a dog shit 10-year-old like who can't draw anything.
I remember seeing some abominations pop out on that.
Well, I mean, most kids who thought they were funny probably just drew dicks for everything. So
Dear stick man.
So no, I've just been like trying to draw things legitly, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this game looks way better when you're not really shit at drawing the object. But yeah, sweet game. I even bought the sequel. I never got to play the sequel. I bought it. Another $9. Shoo, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some expensive video games right there. So I can't wait to play that either. And then, did you ever play Drawn to Life on it?
I had a Nintendo DS for like the shortest amount of time, and it was the one that could play the Game Boy Advance games, and I bought it just for that sole purpose because it had like the backlight on it and everything. Yeah, and that was one of the very few games that I got as well. It was that, and I got Mario and Sonic at the Beijing Olympic Games in 2008. So they were the only 2 DS games that I actually had. So, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. And again, my drawings, I've never been the artistic type for like hand drawing, so it was tragic.
Yeah, me neither, dude. Me neither. And then the last one that I've been playing, just a bit. I'm really taking my time with it. I'm not like gassing it 100% because I'm like, dude, I might not still have my PC for a while, so I kind of want to make the most out of it. But Pokemon Arceus, or Arceus, depending on where you're from. I prefer to say Arceus, but apparently it's Arceus according to Americans. Anyway, so yeah, I've been playing the new Pokemon, and it's exactly the shake-up that the formula needs. I think I might even enjoy this more than mainline Pokemons from now on if they continue with this style of game. It's way more engaging. So, okay, so for example, right, like there's still a Pokédex in this game, but the way you complete it is different to every other Pokemon game, which used to be you just like caught it, right? Or you could see it and then you would catch it, and then, you know, that's both would give you an entry, but then one would give you the full entry. In this game, you have like 5 different ways you can complete a mon for the dex. So like, for example, if you're someone who just likes to battle, if you like kill a Bidoof 25 times, you're done then. Like you've just added it to the Pokedex, if that makes sense. Or if you're someone who just prefers to run around, just spamming, just throwing Pokeballs at every hard noggin Bidoof, and you catch 25 of them, that's that done for it.
So it gives you
you know what I mean?
There's able to interchange the two between like kill and
you can do whatever you want.
That's cool.
Like, and then there's more than that. There's more like specific ones, like get it to use this move like whatever how many times, or like see it do this move how many times, or like catch fat versions of it, or catch small versions of it. Like there's so many ways that you can complete a Pokédex now that it's way more engaging. So like if one day I'm like, I don't really feel like catching 25 like drift blooms, I feel like kicking the shit out of 25 though, you know, I can like swap it up, or like, you know, go for like a rare you know, different version of the mon or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I really like it because it feels more engaging, and I also like that your mons feel more engaged in the game too, because the more you use a move, right, they master the move. So for example, I picked Cyndaquil as my starter.
Good choice.
And I like, one of the moves is Flame Wheel, right? It just spins up in a wheel of fire and goes at them. When I use that 10 times, it learned how to master it, so then it can switch style to Agile or like Heavy. So Agile, it basically means the move will happen before your opponent, but it'll be weaker. And then Heavy means it's going to hit harder, but then your opponent can probably get like 2 moves in, essentially. So it's really cool. The new fighting system, I really like it. The new catching mechanics, I think, are really good too. But I'm just taking my sweet time, baby.
Very cool.
I'm not like playing it every day. I'm just like going through and just doing what I feel like doing. And yeah, as Moses is pointing out, the battle system changed up too. So there's like turn orders due to this new system, which I think is cool. But yeah, as it stands, my current opinion is it looks like shit, but it plays great, which is exactly what I thought would happen after I watched that last gameplay trailer they put out. I was like, those systems look fun.
Yep.
It still looks bad though, and absolutely, it looks
it's very
bad,
grey,
but it's fun.
Gives me like
to me anyway.
Gives me like first like rollout of PlayStation 3 games, like where they all had that grey filter over the top.
I don't even know if it's that, bro. I just don't think that it's got good lighting. To be honest, I think the lighting is the thing that makes it feel grey. It feels like the sun isn't quite as bright as it should be, but
it's a bit overcast.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty good. What about you? What have you been playing, Shoof?
Yeah, so I have just a couple of things to add to the list from the last podcast. Obviously, still a bit of Spider-Man Miles Morales. I finished my first playthrough of that, so that's all
Mr. Miles per hour. How's he going?
Yeah, as I said like last time, that game is so quick. Like once you cut all the side missions and collectibles and stuff like that, it makes it super quick. So for second playthrough, I only need to do the main missions, so I'll be done in, I reckon, like 4 hours.
How many is that? What? 4 hours? They want me to pay $110 on my PS5?
Dude, that's it. I reckon totally, because it's... And literally, it's just for the trophy, because one of the trophies is to complete it on New Game Plus. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon total playthrough time would be 10 to 12 hours.
Dude, he really do live up to his name of 10 miles per hour. Sheesh, dude. Man, that's quick.
Yeah.
I heard it was quick, but man, I didn't realize it was that quick. That's kind of... I mean... I don't want to. I'm not really one of those people who's like, I paid $110 for this game. Yeah. Where are my 150 hours?
Yeah.
But like, man, for a Spider-Man game, that seems kind of short. But anyway,
I mean, you throw into the likes of like the previous Spider-Man game with the Peter Parker Spider-Man, and all of the like crime side mission places for the district was done in such a different way, where it's like now. In the Miles Morales one, there's like 7 or 8 different crime types, and you only have to complete the bonus objectives for it to be complete. Whereas with like the previous Spider-Man, you had to do every type of one in each district, and it just came repetitive at the end. So I like the way that they've done that, and that cuts out a lot of time too.
Yeah, gotcha.
But the story's good, character's good. I mean, it's, as I say, very quick. Yeah, it's a very forgettable game, if I'm being honest.
Do you feel like he's gonna be redeemed in the second game where they're both together?
Totally. Like, I reckon Spider-Man 3 is like the game is gonna be like has been a setup for the two of them to play together, because obviously like Peter Parker Spider-Man appears briefly in the Miles Morales one, and then obviously vice versa. So I think it'll be more of like a tag team with, I don't know how they'll play that, or whether it's going to be multiplayer option, or if it's going to be like some segments take on certain Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Big cool to find out, either way.
Yeah. I mean, Goo brought up in chat that it was probably quickly made on request by Sony for a PS5 launch title. I think my problem with that is though, like 4-hour main story, it sounds to me just like an expansion that they were just like, let's just
it's very DLC. It's like it's the exact same New York City map. So and it's just got
which is fine,
it's by the way. Yeah,
which is fine. Reusing assets is smart. I'm looking at all you Xbox weirdos who are like, the animation is the same. It's like, yeah, bro, why would you spend 30 hours on an animation to get in a boat to throw it away?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no.
obviously, there's some things that have changed and like new settings, but I mean, New York is always going to be New York. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely think it could have been DLC stuff.
Paul.
But apart from that, just been playing a tiny bit of Bloons TD6. Just played that as like a casual game with some friends. And then we got a bit of a jump back into Rocket League and Fortnite just because, you know, some of the work guys are playing those. So I was like, why not jump in, play something with them?
Fortnite.
I know. Hello, Fortnite.
Yo,
I'm 12.
Tilt the Towers.
Dude, they're back.
Yeah, Victory Royale. We're about to get down. Something. Tomato Town. Hell yeah, dude.
That's it.
Love that for you.
That's it. Drake writing bops.
Drake has played Fortnite.
Oh,
beautiful.
But now into the actual gaming news. So first cab off the rank, we're going to start off with the Steam Deck. So some pretty good news for that one is that there's 100 verified playable titles based on the new list. Some of those titles include Dark Souls 3, Death Stranding, Life is Strange 2, Psychonauts, and Aliens Fireteam Elite. So couple of hits, couple of misses in there. Obviously, we knew this list wasn't going to be massive.
Dark Souls 3? Good God.
Yeah. I'm interested to
just
see.
for when you want some pain on the go.
Yeah. Like,
you're just like, you know what? On my bus ride today, I'd choose pain. Boot me up some Dark Souls 3. It's kind of sick, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, who the hell's going to play Dark Souls on a handheld? But then, like, you know, people have played with like Guitar Hero guitars and like bananas and shit, and you're like, oh yeah, never mind.
There's always someone who's down to play some game in some form or another, and like, yeah, I mean, it's a good little list to start off with, I think. I mean, that's obviously not the full list, and it's just some notable titles, but I think obviously they've just picked the ones of note for that start. I mean, games like Aliens Fireteam Elite kind of make sense. It's, I mean, not a great game, but it's an okay game for that sort of platform.
It's a fine video game.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think, dude, I miss fine video games.
Totally.
The games were just fine. You're like, yeah, this is a video game. It's a gamey game.
Now it's all about this game needs to be more game.
Exactly. I like fine video games, and that is a fine video game.
Yeah. What do you think about this as someone who's sort of shown a fair bit of interest in the Steam Deck?
Yeah. Okay. My only issue with the Steam Deck is, okay, Valve is in a sense the laziest gaming company that's ever existed.
Correct.
Because they don't follow through with anything ever. And my problem with that is that with stock shortages, it means that they're going to be doing this release of these Steam Decks in bursts, right? Over a long period of time, like sending stock out. And my only issue with that is that they don't like doing that. They're Steam and Valve do not like doing things over a long period of time. So the issue, I think, is going to be, it's going to get to like a year out and they're just going to be like, we don't feel like making these anymore. We have no interest in it.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go back to their R&D research because they have infinite money from Steam. That's my only concern, is that the deck might be kind of dead on arrival and it'll once again fall to the community to make like Steam Deck patches for games, which will 100% be a thing. Like, watch Valve give up after a year, and then they go, and what they'll do is they'll release tools to the community, and they'll let the community do it.
Yep.
And then watch the hardware barely exist.
You think it's going to be very forgotten very quickly?
I think they're just going to get bored. As cool as I think the Steam Deck is, I think after a year of manufacturing, they're going to go, let's move on. Let's move on to something else here. Even though it is a product that literally would have the longevity of a current console.
Totally.
Like I'm saying, like a 5-year span, like a Switch
It could rival
era.
a Switch, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, they won't because they get so bored so fast, and then they're like, "This is no longer interesting," and then they'll move on. That's my only fear, and it's pretty founded because, man, they don't follow through with anything. Rarely, if ever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of scared. Like, the community will carry it, but I think it'll be, once again, another niche product that comes out from Valve that'll be highly sought after and will just balloon in price and be nearly impossible to get because they just won't be bothered making them. That's my thought. But what do you think? What do you think that's?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of Steam and Valve tech pieces that have been sort of disregarded over the year. Like, what was the home entertainment box that was?
Oh, the Link?
Yeah, the Steam Link. That was around for like the
Steam Link,
the controllers.
Steam controller.
So, like, I mean, if they're anything to go off.
Oh, Steam Machine. Remember those
was
things?
That a little box?
Yeah, those were third-party made Steam OS gaming computers that you're meant to put in your living room to have like a console experience.
That's the box. Yes, I know someone who had one of these, pardon me, and yeah, they kind of died very quickly.
Yeah, they died literally in a year.
So I think if these pieces of tech are anything to go off, I don't think the Steam Deck is going to have much longevity in the market. Like, as you say, I think the Steam Deck has potential to rival, say, a Switch, and it just depends on how the support is from both Valve, Steam, and developers. Like, sure, you can hope modders pick up their way and do what they want to do, but you shouldn't always have to expect that they're going to do that. Like, I know PC community is very much about that and modding games and making it more accessible, but you shouldn't have to rely on a community to do that. Like,
agreed.
I mean, Steam has a massive database of games, a bunch of them which would be well able to be ported or whatever to the Steam Deck. So it just depends what sort of uptake it has.
Yeah,
and it's just a fingers crossed kind of thing at the moment.
Yeah, look, no one more than me wants the Steam Deck to be around for many, many years, as it should, and actually send it to other countries besides the US. Thanks, Valve. But it's literally US only, just like the Index was. Like, I just don't have a lot of faith. Put it that way. I'll leave it there. It's cool. It's cool that it's got like 100 like fully ready to go titles, and you know, I have a little hope because they've literally updated their old games, like even Half-Life 2 and before that, with UI specifically built for the Steam Deck, which is crazy because those games are so old and they've built specific UI so that the Steam Deck can take full advantage of them, which is crazy. But like, you know, at the end of the day, that company that's been around for like 20 years has really only produced like what, 6 games?
Yeah,
9 games in 20 years.
Yep.
So, you know, it's not that many to update, I guess. Like,
very true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very true. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
We'll move on to the next piece of gaming news, though, with World of Warcraft, and the news coming out that both Horde and Alliance will be able to play together as cross-faction, and this is a feature that's been asked about for a really, really long time, and really now will be coming in. I think, what was the patch that they said? 9.
It was a
9.2.
9.1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's really weird that like everything that's like POG about Blizzard has come out after the announcement of being purchased by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like they're finally like, hey, remember that feature you wanted 10 years ago? We're adding it.
It seems like the timing is too uncanny for it to not be.
But it must be.
But you know, like,
You don't think?
Nah. I reckon this is a bigger player because obviously that Microsoft deal wasn't done overnight, and I reckon there's a couple of pieces where they've said to the certain studios, "Hey, this is what we'd like," and hey, here's a good way to keep good PR rolling. It seems like, especially with the off the back of everything that's happened with like Activision Blizzard and everyone being like, "Hey, this is a garbage company," and it's trying to turn that positive spin, I guess, because like, this has been something that people have asked about for over a decade, and the response from, I forget who it was, but he was like, "Oh, why not? Like, why?" Like, people had asked why now, and he was like, "Why not?" And it's like, that's such a nothing answer.
The devs of WoW are really weird.
Yeah, like
the community is very clear in what features they want, and they have very different opinions. It's so strange because a game that's meant to be focused solely around community is so anti-community. Like, the devs are like, we think the game should be made this way.
Yep.
And very few of the devs that even play the game, like, majority of their players do. And like, these players spend God knows how long in that world, and they're like, these are the issues, this is what you should add, this is what you should change, this is what you need to get rid of, and they go, I don't think so. I think it's better this way. And it's like, bro, these are your players, man. They know better than you. Like,
yeah, totally.
It's, I don't know, what do you think about it, man?
I think it's just all too timely. It's really weird. I think, you know, like with all the news, especially around like wanting to shift to more of a community focus, as we know with Game Pass and Xbox, that's sort of their number one. They've sort of been building or trying to rebuild off the downfall that was Xbox One, and everyone thinking that was just like an entertainment hub and not focused around gaming or its community. I don't know, it just seems too right.
We've got a highlighted message in chat which says, "Hot take: Microsoft sent a double agent Bobby Kotick to tank Activision Blizzard's reputation, so when Big Daddy Gates buys the company, he looks like a goddamn hero."
He is a goddamn hero, 100% he is. They've come in as an absolute legend and changed and looking to change everything, you know.
Yeah. Look, I really am not a fan of consolidation. I think it's bad, and I think most people would agree it's a bad thing because it inherently creates less competition, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just very convenient timing on Microsoft's behalf, because imagine if it wasn't this way. Imagine if Activision weren't the bastards of the industry and they were like a darling, and then you see Microsoft buy this darling company, this huge
very different narrative.
It would be a very different story. I think people would be like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, leave them alone, dog. They're doing their own thing. But just perfect opportunity. But apparently, from what I've been reading, Activision was the one shopping around to get bought.
Yeah.
How weird is that? Imagine Bobby Kotick coming around to you and just being like, hello, would you like to buy Activision? Like, what a crazy... You know who would have been the funniest company to purchase Activision? Nintendo.
Yeah.
Do you know how funny that would be? That would be some of the goddamn best content that would ever exist. 100%. Could you imagine Overwatch 2 on my Switch? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I would love to see Call of Duty 37 on my Switch. That is hilarious to me, because they would stream it and their streaming's god awful, which would make it even funnier because everyone would be rubber banding like crazy.
The best thing would be like an Overwatch Winston, but instead of Winston, it's now Donkey Kong.
Oh my god, wait a minute. Never mind, Nintendo, please, I take it back. Quick, outbuy him, outbid him, dude. Oh my god. Wait, and like, you got like Bowser, who's like Reinhardt.
Yeah.
No, he's Roadhog, right?
Yeah.
Wait, who's Roadhog? No, you have Wario as Roadhog. As he hooks you and he's like, Wario.
Just like, got all the Nintendo verse in there.
Yeah, exactly. And then Mercy is definitely Luigi with the backpack from Luigi Mansion.
You got Angela as Princess Peach.
True. You got I don't know. We're going on a tangent here. All right, let's go to the next piece of news. So, heard you like. Do you like Star Wars?
Oh, dude, low key, kind of a bit of a chill fan.
Oh, you got Bing chilling fan, huh?
Bing chilling fan.
Nice. Yeah, they're making a few of them.
They are. 3.
And it's all Respawn.
Yeah, so it's really weird. So Respawn Studios, the company behind Apex Legends, is leading development of
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, of these new projects. So obviously, like, the thought of one of those 3 games is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. But they've also got so they've got, and this doesn't include Star Wars Eclipse or the Lego games. These are all the Ubisoft ones. Yeah, or the Ubisoft one. So one of them is going to be the Star Wars Jedi series, so probably a
Fallen Order
2, or a follow-up of sorts to that. A first-person shooter, and it won't be Battlefront 3, because they've already announced that won't be happening, so this is a new game, which is pretty sick. Hopefully, something along the lines of like a Star Wars 1313 would be awesome.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, bro.
We can dream. And then the third title is a Star Wars strategy game, which will be in collaboration with the newly formed studio Bit Reactor. So,
yeah. I mean, on that, I'm most excited for that FPS that isn't Battlefront. Yeah. I think that EA has finally figured out that DICE is shit.
Yes.
Okay. Look, this may be the hottest take ever, but DICE is dog shit. They haven't developed a game that fucking works since like legitimate like Battlefield 2042. Like, wait, which one's the old one?
Battlefield 3? Or that was the last really good one?
Nah, 3 was buggy as fuck at launch. I mean, like, a clean release. Yeah, Bad Company 2, you're absolutely right. Holy shit, man. I'm so... 2041, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moses. They're not a good studio. They do not know clearly how to release the video games. I feel like those DICE companies, LA and whatever the other, Stockholm, I think, must be so fucking mismanaged, and just like they must promise the world. I'm just super over DICE handling Battlefield. I honestly, this is a bit rough. I want EA to take it and just say, no, we're just gonna give it a Respawn now, because time and time again they've proved that they cannot make a Battlefield game work, and it's like, it really sucks, because Battlefield was always my shooter of choice between COD and Battlefield, right? Like, in that one there, I much preferred it. But holy shit, they cannot make a video game. I bought the latest Battlefield, right? It was super cheap. I got it for like $15 or something. I was playing it and I was just like, what is this? What is this? Like, this shit's so broken. I'm like running, and then all of a sudden my body's getting jammed halfway into the ground. And I'm like, now I'm stuck. So I have to like kill myself. I then like hop in a tank, drive like 5 steps. It flings up into the air, lands back down, explodes. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? That game is so bankrupt, and the latest one just feels like it has no soul. Like, they're like, there's 140 people in the server. I'm like, bro, it feels like there's 3. Like, what? You've made these maps too big.
I was asking,
like, and also it's so laggy.
Yeah, my friend George was a massive like Battlefield fan and like loves playing those games. And then he asked me to get 2042, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll consider it. And then I messaged him the other day. I was like, hey, you still playing that? And he goes, Battlefield is a huge disappointment. EA kind of messed it. I'm back to playing other games. And he was just like, it was a good game ruined.
Well, did you see the fact that, like, cheat makers are literally like, yeah, we're not supporting this anymore.
Yeah.
Literally no one's playing it. They literally stopped making cheats for this game and supporting them because of the lack of player base. That's the craziest shit ever, when cheaters can't be bothered to make them anymore. That's just when you know that shit's got to change, and it's got to change massively.
Yep.
But back to the actual news at hand. Yeah, Star Wars FPS by Respawn that isn't Battlefront. Hell yeah, brother.
King.
Hell yeah. Give me some like Republic Commando shit or something again.
Yeah.
Like, or like whatever. Like, I don't mind, to be honest. Just anything that's not Battlefront.
Not gonna lie, too, like, Respawn's majorly carrying EA with Apex at the moment, so...
yeah, Respawn's been carrying them for a while, I think.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they pop out with some Star Wars stuff. I mean, it'd be cool to add some, like... Probably won't ever see it happen, but some Star Wars stuff in Apex, too. Like, nifty guns and shit like that, blasters or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if they're Fortnite, bro.
Yeah,
I like
true.
that they're not Fortnite.
Yeah, but I like Respawn and what they've done with Apex. I think it's like it's a pretty fun game. I used to play like a fair bit of it.
My favorite battle royale.
Totally. I think it's very fun. I'm not very good at it, but
who'd you play?
I played the chemical dude. I forget what his name is.
Oh, the guy with the smoke, or the one that injects himself?
No, not the injecty dude.
Oh, the smoke boy?
Yeah.
He throws the little canisters and they go...
Yes.
Yeah. I liked him too. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But that's probably because I played Bloodhound the most. I was a filthy Bloodhound man.
Yeah. Bloodhound was my second.
Caustic. Thank you.
Caustic.
Caustic. That's it. I'm a big Bloodhound stan.
Bloodhound's great.
Because that game is just built, that character is just built for me.
Yeah.
Because I love playing like a tracker in those kinds of games and like thinking methodically about where they are. And that character's just broken if you have that kind of mind. Yeah. Because like you'll see that they're like, even the passive of like, oh, they just jump this fence just allows my giga crinkled brain to be like, okay, most likely they just hit the top floor looting this building. I'm gonna loop around and cut them off, and then boom, got him. I'm like, dude, this character's OP.
Huge big brain plays.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, good, man. Shit, fucking real good, goddamn real good game. didn't really play it too much, but you know,
totally.
It like I played like 12 matches in total, and I think I won 6.
Yeah.
Like, victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, about to get down. Hell yeah. All right, let's probably move on to this next story. You're going to have to lead this one, because I have not read this, but my mind is exploding.
Yeah, so, big news for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Not Modern Warfare 2, the original, but Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare 2, is being made by 11 game dev studios. Now...
What the fuck?
It's obviously like Call of Duty Modern Warfare is usually a one-team company where it's like you've got Treyarch, you've got who's your other ones?
You've got Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer,
and that's
and
it.
then you've got Raven, who's now specifically on Warzone, but they kind of still support studio. Yeah.
Totally. So they're now coming out with that one. So according to the news, 3 Infinity Ward's studios are working on the game alongside Treyarch, Activision, Raven, Sledgehammer, Demonware, High Moon Studios, Toys for Bob, and Beanox. It's kind of weird. They're just like throwing all their assets at it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, by all accounts, I think Vanguard, like, you know, obviously sold too many copies, but like not Call of Duty copies. Like, it was a colossal failure if you look at it compared to like the last 2 Call of Duties that came out, and even Cold War wasn't even received that well.
Yep.
So the 11 studio thing might be like, hey, like the remake of Modern Warfare pogged out of its gourd. Let's make sure we pog Modern Warfare 2 out of its gourd as well.
Totally. So the way that they're looking at it is apparently like a bit of a reboot for Call of Duty in its sense. Yeah,
Well, that's what the remake was already. This is just the sequel to the remake.
Yeah, totally. They're saying like it shouldn't be a cause for concern that there are so many hands involved. From everything that has been said, everything's running smoothly, and the game's currently in alpha.
I just realized they don't even have to make a campaign. They've already remade it. So they've sold it already.
They are doing it. No. This is not Modern Warfare 2, the old school one. This is a Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare follow-up. So the 2019 Modern Warfare.
But you don't think they'll use the same campaign?
Hey, I mean, all Call of Duty campaigns are a reskin of some campaigns after a certain point.
Bit of a demake then.
Yeah. Pretty interesting to see that that's happening. Yeah, and I guess interesting news on Call of Duty as like a follow-up. Obviously with the news of the Xbox acquisition of Activision, everyone thought that Call of Duty would now be like an exclusive Microsoft title. Phil Spencer, Big Dick Phil, has come out and said, hey, no, for the next 3 titles at least, they're all going to be cross-platform, which is good, which is interesting news, but he hasn't promised anything past that.
By the way, did I not call this? I said that. I was like, yeah, for the next couple.
Yeah.
And which is exactly the bullshit he was saying, where he was just like, he's like, yeah, the next 3. Because let's be honest, these contractual agreements have already been done years in advance. Yes. So the next 3 are already signed for Sony.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. That shit, dude, yeah, Warzone, that'll still exist on
everything.
You know, on everything.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, base Call of Duty, after those like 3 to 4 titles, bro, I called my shot last stream and I'll call it again, bro. That shit's gonna be platform exclusive.
That's it, yeah.
And I knew it too, because he said it in such a, like, Uncle Phil said it in such a sussy bucker way, where he's like, yeah, contractual agreements. And yeah, like the next 3 are on there.
Yep.
And then it's like, what does that mean, Phil? What about the rest of them? And he's just like, yeah. It's just like,
totally.
Phil?
They're out there.
Dude, okay.
Yeah.
We need to have a discussion on this though. Okay, Call of Duty, which has always been predominantly bought and played on PlayStation.
Yes.
It gets taken away from them. Does Sony survive? If that's the case?
It's weird when you say that, because I don't necessarily think of Call of Duty as a console selling title, but it really is for a lot of people. It
absolutely is.
It's so weird that it's like a multi-platform game, but it is in its own right like a platform seller. Because all the boys get their copy of Call of Duty every year, same console, and it's like, oh, Eeenaa got it on Xbox. Okay, guess I'm getting mine on Xbox too. Oh, Jordan got his one on, whatever. PlayStation got FIFA on PlayStation. Okay, guess the boys are getting FIFA on PlayStation this year. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. But can they survive without it? Because think about it. They take a 30% cut, right, of all the sales of Call of Duty, and it obviously sells disgustingly on PlayStation. It's a lot of money missing if they go this route. Do you think Sony can actually or do you they can live, but they have to be much more smarter with their IP?
I totally think that they're going to have to be much smarter with their IP in terms of picking and choosing and developing a first-party title that can rival that. Halo was sort of like the FPS for Xbox. Now they've got Call of Duty, which is like the FPS. Either, they'll have to get like a Battlefield or something that sort of aligns closely with that. I don't think like a Killzone is going to rival Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
and Last of Us,
I'm pretty sure
not gonna get that. There's shooters that PlayStation have under their belt, but I don't think there's anything that's going to rival a Call of Duty.
Well, like, yeah, they've got the only two that they have on the back burner is Killzone and SOCOM.
Yeah, and SOCOM's been dead for years, so that's not
exactly.
Even if they reboot that, that's no one's gonna go, fuck yeah, SOCOM over Call of Duty. Like no one's coming out of the woodworks to support SOCOM over Call of Duty, my guy. Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, this is like just humor me real quick. Okay, Sony either purchases or merges with Ubisoft to get the Rainbow Six Siege license, in which case they make that into a game exactly like Call of Duty.
Totally.
Thoughts?
Totally. That could be very doable for them. I reckon if that's the route they're looking to go. And you know, Tom Clancy is a name that could absolutely be like a Call of Duty rival. They've got Siege, which is great for those sort of competitive round-based games. They could flesh that out a little bit more into like a whatever modes, like a TDM, capture the flag, yada yada yada. And I think that's what they kind of need if they're not developing that. Like, and I don't think it's a matter of them building a title to rival it. They need an established title.
Well, okay. One of the people in chat just said Jesus. Okay,
they need Jesus.
It's a very wild claim to like say something like that. But here's the problem with Sony and why it's going to be so hard for them to survive, I think, if they don't do something like this.
Yeah.
First of all, they have we'll go over this news later. They have Destiny. Right? Because we'll get into it. But they have Destiny, they have Killzone, they have SOCOM. Both of those latter two games have been dead. Right? They're gone. Right? They're not coming back. Maybe Killzone in like 50 years, but not
Killzone was
not the other one for sure.
On the PS4. That was the last time we saw it.
Microsoft literally owns goddamn Call of Duty. They own Overwatch. They own Doom. They own what's that other competitive shooting game? First-person shooter.
Which developer?
Wolfenstein. They own like, dude, Microsoft owns nearly every single first-person console shooting game that exists in the market.
Got Bubsy.
Yeah, we got Bubsy. So my reason for thinking that they would want to acquire or merge with someone like Ubisoft is the fact that they have a strong first-person IP in the Siege games, which is a recognizable brand that they can use to immediately pull across. Is it as big as Call of Duty? Obviously not. Obviously. But by making something like that exclusive, but who owns Quake? I own Quake. I own goddamn Quake. It's a great video game. Don't ever want to hear shit about Quake again. So the problem is, I think that Sony's really gone to bleed a lot of cash that they've been making from Call of Duty every single goddamn year, and it's going to be a lot of millions that they're gonna have to go, wait, where are we gonna get these millions back after these 3 years? Because I truly think that once these deals have been done, dude, it's just gonna go to Xbox. At least the main multiplayer Call of Duty, I think. In my opinion.
Quake is owned by id, which is owned by Bethesda.
Correct. Correct.
So
yeah. Anyway.
Totally. So they've got like 3 years to plan.
Yes.
Totally. So they've got to have something for when that happens, because yeah, totally, they are going to lose a big portion of people there, especially if it's going to be like a platform exclusive. We don't know. We're just assuming at this stage, but based on Phil's
I'm just
wording,
shooting my shot.
Yeah, based on Phil's wording, it looks pretty grim. I'll say.
Yeah, that's a good word to use.
Yeah, totally. But we'll move on to some other gaming news because we've got a fair few things to get through. Blizzard, under the Microsoft belt now, has been making a survival game for 4 years, and hiring talent may be a bit difficult as they're trying to flesh this out. Yeah, because they've got some bad PR, but
what? Blizzard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That they've been making a survival game and it's already been like 4 years in production. Now, in that time, it's not known like how much of that is pre-production or like full production or whatever. And the fact that they're still hiring means obviously they still have probably a few years to go, knowing them.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel with Blizzard in the space? Because what I know Blizzard for is they typically take a genre and then they polish it to like a fine sheen and make it like the most marketable and easy to get into games ever made. Do you think that it's finally good to have like an actual AAA developer in the survival space? Because like we basically have had nothing but AA survival games for the last 6 to 10 years, really.
Totally. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a difference from games that are, majority early access.
Pretty much.
It's weird. Like it's a whole new universe. It's a survival game, and from what I'm reading, it's also like first person, which is interesting. So it's gonna be it's weird to have Blizzard taking or entering that space. Not really something that you'd expect from them. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they come up with. And given that it's been in development for 4 or 5 years now,
4 to 5 years, yeah.
Yeah. It obviously shows that either A, it's gonna come out really good, or B, it's gonna be one of those games that's like a Cyberpunk, or what's the other, Last Guardian, you know?
Oh right, like just a complete lie.
Yeah, it's one of those games that's been in development for so long and it just doesn't do what it's meant to do, but it's still...
I think it's going to be fine, because from what I've been reading on Twitter, and yeah, big dude, just trust me, dude.
Yeah.
On Twitter and from like emails and stuff that have been like sent around the company or whatever, and Jason Schreier was reporting, apparently everyone on the internal of Blizzard is stoked for this game. They are like super pumped, for hanging out. What? Oh my god, sorry, I'm trying to do 3 things at once and my brain cannot handle it. They're super pumped for the game to come out, which is encouraging that there's like at least something good going on inside of Blizzard that they're excited about.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's really cool that they're finally excited about something that they're doing rather than just getting flamed the entire time and having disgustive degenerates amongst their ranks.
Totally. And as we know, we kind of discussed it there for a little bit. They've kind of historically taken their time to develop like new IPs.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, like Overwatch came out a while ago from them. They've been working on like things in the background. So, and I mean the internal hype, I guess, is good as well. Be interesting. And on the back of that, obviously, there's with little column A, little column B, Activision VP has posted some anti-union messages in the company's Slack. And he said something along the lines of, "A union doesn't do anything to help us produce world-class games." So basically being like, hey, employees, shut up. It was a TLDR, like 6-point thing. it's so bad when you've got this news coming out literally like a week after the positive news of Microsoft coming in as a driving force to change work culture, and then to post this while obviously that union is still happening. You'd think that someone higher up would be like, "Hey, don't ruin this for us. We've got good stuff going on." But yeah.
Dude, Activision just needs to shut the fuck up.
Literally.
like literally, everyone at the top of Activision just needs to shut the fuck up.
They're all gonna get a pay.
Year.
They're gonna get their
Exactly.
pay. They just need to sit down and not
They
ruin things.
They literally just need to say nothing for a year.
Yeah.
They're all getting the boot.
Yeah.
Just shut up. It literally doesn't matter anymore in your position.
They should
Stop
totally,
caring what they're doing. Like, you're all gonna land on golden parachutes. Like, God, Jesus. Like, these people are just so unrelentingly toxic and shit. And it's just like, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Like
you'd hope someone
just
from
gets me so
Microsoft
pissed.
stepped in and was just like, "Hey, okay, you've got people planning a union. This is what we need to do." But instead, like, they've gone and posted stuff in the company Slack, which why? Just why?
Yeah, and as if you would like ever think that's gonna stay confidential in the current landscape of Blizzard,
Totally.
like Activision Blizzard.
That was going to be
Dude,
leaked one way or another.
Any of these people who are like trying to form a team are gonna be like, the fuck nani? Like, and then they're just gonna post it and they're gonna be like, look at this shit, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just so, man, dude, upper management in these companies can just eat a fat one, dude.
Yeah, totally.
I'm so sick of reading headlines like this. Like, just in general, it's just like every week, it just feels like I'm reading a dumb headline from some VP at a shitty brand that's just like, hey, you guys should piss in bottles at work so you can keep working more. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
You guys just gotta keep your mouths shut.
Yeah, it's just cringe.
It is.
That's what it is. It's just cringe.
Yeah.
And these old people who have no idea of anything to do with games and they're just business people can just get the fuck out of the industry, bro. Get out.
It's not good. It's not good news.
Yeah. And then speaking of things that is also not good news, Hyperscape has yes, okay, so I might need to do like a refresh on what this game is. Okay, so Hyperscape, for those who don't know what it is, was a battle royale made by Ubisoft that was kind of a bit like Tribes in a way. Like, it was a very fast battle royale, kind of like railgun type deal stuff going on. We zoom, we go fast, random pickups around the map, stuff like that. They made one of those, and after a year or 2 years, they have now
1 year
killed it. Yeah, 1 year. They've killed it. They've been like, we are terminating it. Which just goes to show you how much guts that Ubisoft has when it comes to, you know, trying to make something work. They give it the good old college try for a year, and then they shut it down. And I took this particular interest in this story because something near and dear to my heart is game preservation, and I just wanted to like springboard off this topic or this article into the topic of online game preservation.
Yep.
You know, like, what happens when the lights go off for these games that are multiplayer only? Like, how do we like save these kinds of games that are like specifically built to be online only, that have no single player component that can be stored and kept for games history in general. Alex, what do you think about, I mean, give me your thoughts on first them shutting the game down after a year.
Yep.
And then when it comes to online game preservation, does it really matter? Or should we more focus on things that are, you know, single player stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Hyperscape was one of those games that tried to jump in on the cash grab that was battle royales, and I think it was just a bit too late. It didn't have an established IP, so it wasn't sort of there, and obviously like support fell off pretty quickly, which is why they've shut it down. And it's sad. And in terms of like the online game preservation, it's a weird one. You know, you invest for some of these online games so many hours and you have no physical memory of it. You know, I've played tons of online games growing up, like as a young kid, like Neopets, played RuneScape, played, you know, all those online games, Club Penguin. And you know, there's nothing that's like a real memory there. Like once that server's shut down, it's gone, you know?
Yeah.
It's so sad to think that that once that's gone, it's gone. And I feel sad for the developers who've, you know, put in years of their time into a game. Like they dedicate their lives to that for a year's worth of effort. You know, it must be so sad for someone who's gone, okay, here's what I've got in my portfolio. I have Hyperscape. And they look at that and they'll go, okay, well, this is not the best name to have to my resume when, you know, I worked 4 years on it. It was up for a year and then it just died.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so weird.
It is. Online game preservation is a very strange one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like we need better tools for our developers to be able to create maybe like online game snapshots in which, like, once the game is about to go offline, they kind of just turn it into like almost a single player game, like fill it with bots and you kind of just play like the rounds out, if that makes sense. Like you just kind of like that's the only thing in my brain that I can like really like muster when it comes to online game preservation, is that they need to create this final like snapshot of the game and how it was, and fill it with AI, and then, you know, be like, it is now single player only. You can still play this in offline.
Totally.
But so I mean, but that obviously doesn't happen because it's like, I just feel like the tech isn't good enough for them to be there yet and like have this thing. And, you know, would people be like, oh, you're going to charge me $60 to verse like AI and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But see, Good brings up a good point. The main issue is server hosting costs, right? Which is obviously why games go down, because once server costs go over how much you're using to maintain it versus how much you have income, it's not a good business decision anymore.
No.
And that's where I think this snapshot idea is something that I think developers of online games really need to get behind, where they create this thing. Because if you think about it, right, the more complex a game is, obviously the harder it would be to do.
Totally.
But like, look at RuneScape, right? Perfect example. That game, honestly, would be fine single player.
Yes.
You take its final snapshot and you're just literally playing an old top-down RPG.
Yep.
That's it.
The only thing that would be missing is like everyone shouting at the Grand Exchange, buying lobbies 4K each. Like, it's like,
yeah, exactly.
There's some element that would be missing, but it would function fine as a single player game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing you'd be missing. Like, obviously, that you'd have big functions like that, like the, you know, flowing marketplace and stuff. But it's like, but that's when you could get really intricate with it, where maybe you could have like AI like flood the market randomly with random things at random prices, right? And then you can navigate that still in a single player manner. It would just depend how much effort that they want to put into it.
Totally.
It's online game preservation is just something that is just really sad in the way that if it's online only, if there's a single player component of it, like let's say, like, I don't know, what the fuck's a good example of this? Bad Company 2.
Yes.
Right?
Great
still
game.
has its servers. One day, they'll probably all go. But the campaign's still fine and gives you a good idea of what the game was like.
Fun game.
Right? Yep. Makes sense. But then there's games on the PS3 like Mag. Right? how the fuck do you preserve mag? Like it's all online, and it was a crazy idea for the time. If no one knows what mag is, mag was like the first game on PS3 that had, was it 100 players? I can't remember. It was a crazy number for the time. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. So mag was like one of the first games that used like this strange technology that for the era, I think it was, I don't remember quite how it worked, but it basically essentially allowed them to do like the most insane player number, up to 96.
Yeah, that's insane for a PS3.
96 players for PS3. Crazy. Actually insane. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I would love for this to be a more looked into area for sure. But what do you think the likelihood of this is happening would be, Mr. Xia?
I think it's pretty low, sadly. Like, it's one of those things that it's going to take more resources and effort than it's worth, because truth be told, if they're shutting a game down, it's because the support's gone for it. More or less. Like, yes, there's always going to be your sort of diehard fans who are always going to love and enjoy a game, but for the vast majority, they've moved on. And that's why these servers get shut down. And then they'll look at it and they'll go, okay, what's the bonus of us developing or exporting a new file that's going to be, what, single player only, and what's the potential of this game to be played single player only? Like, if you look at something like Hyperscape, it's something that's never going to be able to be used as a single player mode. You look at something like RuneScape.
Well, besides the bots.
Yeah, besides bots.
Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, is that the most exciting thing?
Probably not. It's more... The thing is, what I'm passionate about is just that these are the kinds of games that get lost to time.
Yes.
It's more that I'm looking at from a history perspective of games, because games is such a vapid market where things just disappear, right?
Totally.
Where like obviously film's been going for much longer than games, right? And they have like obviously there's heaps of films that have been lost to time, like burnt down in fires and stuff like that, one copies and reels and stuff. But ever since they like kind of figured out that, hey, this art form's like pretty important, like even if they are just really shit films, they're still like a thing that got made, and they preserve them. Totally. And for me, that's the thing that hurts the most. It's just like we are losing something that we can never get back, and will be just completely gone and not in any way, shape or form be able to be, examined or brought back, like in the sense of like a library, of like looking at these things and being able to like play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my only concern with games, is that publishers and whoever, like, yeah, obviously it's not profitable, but it's just like they're just so like ready for, here's like the next thing. And it's like, man, I really would, love the next thing, but I wish we could preserve some of these things from the past that don't have these single player elements, because we're losing so much game history, because it'll just be like a thing that would be talked about. It'll be like, yeah, this game existed. We've got some footage of it. Nah, we can't show you what it's actually like because it doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, but didn't they spend like 4 years on it? And they're like, yeah, and like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's gone forever to time, and it's a modern game, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Anyway, yeah, to me, it's just sad that, online game preservation is just such a, just like pump and dump thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next news. I'll kind of let you take the lead on this one, Eeenaa, but Elden Ring news. Miyazaki has made several poison swamps and said he just can't help it when he makes a Souls game. Says he doesn't want new players stressing about difficulty.
Yeah. Yeah, the bastard. Yeah, basically, this is just like a short story that I found funny. So Miyazaki did an interview where basically he got asked the question if there's going to be any poison swamps in Elden Ring, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there's like several of them." And then, yeah, his reason was he said when he's designing, he just can't help it. So, which is just hilarious that there's several instead of just one, which sounds just fucking awful. But then also followed it up by saying he doesn't want new players to stress about difficulty, and it's like, bruh, make up your mind. Which one is it?
The two don't go hand in hand.
Yeah, which one is this? But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a pretty vapid story. I just found it pretty funny that he was just like, oh yeah, there's multiple poison swamps.
I love the comments on Reddit for this thread too. It says the beatings will continue until morale improves. Miyazaki, probably.
Love that.
If nothing, he's consistent.
He is a consistent man. It's very true.
Love it. Very good. Moving on to some more news. We've got Discord integration that's rolled out for PlayStation owners as of today. So pretty quick. We'll just touch on this. Essentially, you can connect your PlayStation Network account to your Discord, show people what you're playing, and also you can use it under your connections in for voice chat and that sort of thing on PlayStation. What do you think about this as a quick little chat point?
Yeah, I mean they built them ages ago, right? It's crazy it's taken them this long.
Yeah. What
do you think about it?
I think it's great. I think that party chat on PlayStation is kind of a meh feature, and I think that that's something that Xbox and Microsoft have done better. I think Discord is going to help them bridge that gap, because Discord's just massive in its own right. So, yeah, cool little feature, and I like it.
By the way, just to double back on that Elden Ring news, so. Just to quickly reiterate, Haggle in chat is saying that all the Soul servers got taken down because of the exploit in which hackers could take over people's computers and brick them. Yeah, that's pretty scary. And apparently that would also be an issue with Elden Ring as well. So they have now. I remember reading the headline that they're now adding easy anti-cheat to the game, which is crazy because they've never really had that at all. So. Yeah, just another little tidbit of news that's interesting. Keep watching out for it.
Definitely. Before we hit on the big news, just a couple of smaller little points. We've got MLB The Show is launching on Xbox Game Pass. That's confirmed launching and also coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is pretty crazy because, I mean, it's not massive in Australia, but more so in the States. This is the only MLB title available. 2K doesn't make any. So, and given that it's a San Diego studio game, it's a first-party PlayStation developer, and it's been solely PlayStation for the longest time. For it to launch on Xbox Game Pass again is pretty crazy. And also coming to... I mean, yeah, because the last title also launched on Game Pass, and now they've got it on the Nintendo Switch as well, so... kind of interesting, I guess.
Man,
is a little
it's
point.
Gonna look like shit on Switch.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's gonna look like backyard baseball.
Yeah, totally. I remember playing like NBA 2K on the Switch at a gaming convention one year, and I was like, "Oh, this is garbo."
Oh man, that's all right. We got an OLED Switch. Doesn't matter. Way more powerful than the other one.
Yeah. Interesting. I just thought that was interesting, given that it was a first-party studio doing like a multi-platform launch now. Yeah, and also PlayStation State of Play. Obviously, the last one was in October, kind of focused on indies and the like. They've got another one for the 2nd of Feb, 3rd of Feb for Australia, and it's going to be 30 minutes of Gran Turismo only, which is so random given the fact that like Horizon. Forbidden West drops like a couple of days later. I don't know, it seems like a big push against their Xbox rival in Forza, which has just taken out a Game of the Year award for sound. What do you think?
Didn't they not already do a State of Play already on Horizon though?
Yeah, actually that would have been the one in October. So
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Don't know. Bit weird. But I guess it makes sense. You wouldn't do two in a row because people would be like, what the hell going on?
Hmm.
Um, 30 minutes of Gran Turismo.
Gameplay.
Um, yeah, gameplay.
Hmm.
It's very much for a specific audience.
It is.
That's for sure. It's not like your average gamer is just gonna like tune into that one.
Mm-mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one,
Um,
isn't it?
yeah. I don't really know how to feel about it. 30 minutes of Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a weird thing to base a whole state of play show around. Like, obviously, it's not an in-person show. It's kind of like online, like the last one
like,
was, but still seems
like,
weird to dedicate that amount of time to.
like it's a prestigious car game with a lot of history. Like, I get it,
Yep.
but it's also been a long time since a Gran Turismo's come out. So, you know what? Maybe it's okay. Like, Gran Turismo really only comes out like once, really, a generation. So it should deserve its
Yeah,
flowers.
9 years.
Yeah, shit.
2013 was Gran Turismo 6.
Yeah, look, you know what? 9 years. I'll give you 30 minutes. That's fine. You can have a state of play, bro. That's all good. You know, I think, if the Gran Turismo fans have been waiting 9 years, you know what? Let's give them one. I think that's
True.
okay.
Yeah, it's strange, but yeah,
I get it.
it's a
I
good
get it.
little
I get
push.
it.
But now onto the big news that sort of everyone's been waiting for. It's the news of the day. PlayStation has acquired Bungie for $3.9 billion. Another entry into the list of what seems to be very common game acquisitions for the year of
Yeah.
2022.
Hit him with the facts, Zia.
So
Hit him with him.
there's a couple of big points which I've noticed today that major gaming news outlets haven't seemed to cover. And it's sort of key from their like takeaways from their press release. So Bungie is going to remain independent and a multi-platform publisher. So that's sort of one of the key takeaways here, that it's going to remain independent, even though it is now owned by PlayStation. Based on my takeaways from the press release, I also think it's going to be more of like a tech purchase rather than IP. Yes, they've got Destiny now, and that's sort of the only thing that Bungie really owns. But the press release sort of states the multi-platform and multiplayer aspects of Bungie and what they've done there, and the proprietary tools that they own. So has to be some, form of tech there. Sony is obviously planning to invest in heavily into live service games with Bungie buyout. So obviously live service games are games that sort of have a longer life, one release, and then they sort of have that eternal shelf life, kind of like a League of Legends or a Dota, Counter-Strike, Overwatch. It's a buy once, live forever. And it's a nice way for it to have that prolonged life for video games, which I think Sony is more so looking at, and they like the idea that Bungie's had, and sort of wanting to see and implement ways to do that. Also, another thing that Bungie's super keen on as part of the partnership is that they want to get more into entertainment, stating that today Bungie begins our journey to become a global multimedia entertainment company. They're also continuing to hire for Destiny 2 and beyond. Yeah, and it's kind of funny that Microsoft has Crash and Spyro, Sony now has the creators of Halo. So lots of, obviously, information to digest there. It's a very interesting purchase. I was talking about this both with Eeenaa and my other mate Hugh before we jumped on this podcast, and it was like, we'd been speculating, obviously, with the news of game studio acquisitions. He was like, my mate Hugh and I were like, EA, Ubisoft, all these other potential options, Sega, and then it's Bungie, and it's like the weirdest acquisition for the everyday consumer in the way of like IP, just looking at what they own. And it seems like a lot of money, 3.9 billion for what seems to now be tech.
Yeah, Yeah, dude. Good old Bungie. They got a fat bag for this one.
Totally. And they've
Um,
done really well in what they've established for themselves as a brand, and what they get out of it too. Like the fact that they remain independent, they're multi-platform, they want to do more creative stuff. It's nuts.
it's very it's a very Microsoft approach. Well, current Microsoft, right? They used to be under old Microsoft, obviously.
Yes.
Which wasn't that way at all. But I think this can only work with them staying independent, because Bungie and the leaders of Bungie seem to get very irritable when they're not able to do what they want to do themselves.
Yep.
Hence the purchase of themselves away from Activision, because they were like, we're not making a Destiny 3. Destiny 2 sucks ass and we want to fix it and add more content. And they're like, no, you promised us 3 games. And they were like, fuck off.
Totally.
And so they bought their own way out, which is hilarious. Yeah, this is just a steal in Bungie's case, not even Sony's.
No.
Independent, they still multi-platform. They definitely will get some tech out of this.
Yes.
Bungie has some crazy tech in whatever that engine is they're using, is very good for shooters. And then also their ability to be able to shelf content is probably also something they're looking at, especially when it comes to live service, because they'll probably use that sunsetting, as they like to call it, which is the stupidest shit ever. They'll probably use that tech in more live service games to come. So across whatever gets made that's a live service. So yeah, it's definitely also a tech buyout. They get the engine as well, which is the nut.
Big one.
Yeah. And just an incredibly talented studio. It was the largest indie studio in the world, technically.
And it's crazy to think that Bungie was considered indie.
Well, they were.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to think that.
And yeah, man. This is just good for Bungie.
Yeah, it's great.
PlayStation had to, but
that's the thing. Everyone's
people
saying
like
it's a retaliation thing, but
it can't be.
No. So like the talk. Apparently, there's been news that this has been in the talks since July 2021. So obviously, it's not like hey, Xbox has come out and bought Activision and a bunch of other ones like Bethesda. No, this is like hey, we want to buy this, and it's taken some time, because with all of the conditions that are in this document, lawyers go back and forth on that stuff for yonks. Like,
dude, this has probably been
ironed out. This
has probably been in talks since Destiny 1 launched.
Totally.
Because they were more bound to PlayStation anyway, with earlier content drops and more content drops on PlayStation and stuff. So it makes more of a fit for them to go to Sony. It's just
which made sense after our last podcast where we said, hey, if PlayStation's going after anyone, it's ones where they've got pre-existing arrangements or agreements. Like Bungie is actually a pretty good one for them, considering they do have had a good relationship, and obviously Bungie kind of had a falling out with Microsoft, Xbox, and Activision. So I mean, Bungie gets to look at that, turn away from them, and PlayStation kind of becomes the only option for them. Well,
besides themselves, yeah,
totally, yeah. They could have decided to stay independent, but for them, based on everything that's come to light in this press release and this acquisition, it's worked out really well for them. Yeah.
It's also just free marketing now. They don't need to market, because PlayStation will just do it for them too. So
totally.
All those hundreds of millions of independent dollars they were already spending on marketing is now just
free
from PlayStation.
Yeah,
for free. And it's just such a big brain move.
Yeah,
for Bungie to just be like, oh, you guys want to buy us? Okay,
Yes.
like that's cool, but here are the conditions, and also we want 3.9 billion, which, by the way, we have one IP that's known, two that aren't, and also you basically just bought half of the entire deal of ZeniMax
Yep. Yeah.
for one game.
Like,
Well, and two others, but
it's crazy looking at the original Microsoft deal in 2000, when they purchased Bungie, and in today's money it would have been 200 mil. So like, obviously they've grown massively since then. Yeah, and like Herman Holst obviously took to Twitter today saying, last year, a few people who were passionate about games sat down to discuss our vision of the future and how we might work together to build that vision. Today, we took a major step towards that. I can't wait. So obviously, Herman Holst, ex-Guerrilla Games, now the global head of PlayStation Studios. I really like Herman as a leader. I don't think he's as much of a face as sort of like a Phil. But I do think he's got like that good mind for building out PlayStation as a brand. I think it's great, the acquisition. I think it's expensive, personally.
it's a little high, I think.
Yeah, like, we've had some pretty big purchases recently in the space. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like okay, if I'm a betting man, right, I would say a bill of that, probably just Destiny.
Yes.
And then I would probably say the 0.9 is probably for the tech. I think the other two bill might just be what is sitting in the canister, to be honest.
You reckon there's something?
Like, I feel like Sony has seen what it is and they're like, yeah, these are going to be huge. And have really dug deep in the barrel. But also, I guess they are acquiring like 1,000+ employees as well.
It's true.
It's like quite a lot of manpower and studios like to buy. So yeah, it does seem higher though. Like,
Yeah.
I could definitely understand seeing like a 1.9 or like a 1.5, but yeah, nearly 4 bill is pretty high.
And it's kind of crazy following their like trajectory with PlayStation and their acquisitions at the moment. If you have a look at it, like backdating it to last year, they're acquiring a new studio every 2 months. So if we have a look at September, it was Fire Sprite. In October, it was Bluepoint. In December, it was Valkyrie. And now in February, Feb, we've got Bungie. So, slow but steady, I guess. Yeah. I'm very, very curious. And I think you might be right in saying that, like, that split of distribution of value of what they think might be in the war chest, because there's got to be something more than that. Like, tech is great and it's super valuable to distribute throughout your company, but I don't know if it's worth that heavy weighting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I mean, it's weird to say, but obviously PlayStation had been lacking in the indie space, and obviously over the last few years they've tried to build in that. Do you reckon this solidifies that commitment to indies by a Bungie acquisition as well, in a sense?
Well, they're not indie then.
True.
Like, I don't see Sony going and buying a bunch of indie studios. I think that might be too much overhead for them to go on, and I think that might create a negative appearance in what they're trying to do. Because if you just start going around buying all these small studios, it kind of gets to a point where they seem like hostile takeovers for the sake of, like, bolstering these amount of these studios that you want. I think, like, going and just buying nothing but indie studios would have eventually a very bad look.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're not indie then.
Yeah.
They're not their own people. I think indies taking deals for exclusive rights for like timed exclusives makes the most sense in that situation, which, you know, I don't really like exclusives, but I understand their worth in like console thing, yada yada yada, whatever. It's much better for them to be given a bag by Sony and then to say, hey, we're going to show this on like our shows and social media and stuff, and they go, sweet, marketing, sweet, and then that's it, and they just kind of like, you know, and they build a good relationship, and then that just means that they just keep making more, you know, timed exclusive content and stuff like that. I don't necessarily know if it's a good idea to go buy a bunch of indie studios unless they start taking a Microsoft approach, kind of like this, where they just go, hey, like, we own you, but kind of do your own thing.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is it's like, can Sony sustain that?
Yeah, especially
like,
if you have
they don't have Microsoft money.
Yeah,
they don't have Microsoft money. They can't just go like, you know what, take as long as you want, bro. Take as long as you want. It just doesn't seem sustainable. So I think what they've been doing with them is probably the best approach that they can do.
Yep.
Yeah, in regards to the indie scene.
Totally. And I guess the follow-up point to that is the PlayStation CEO, Jim Ryan, has come out and said you should expect to see more acquisitions on the way following the Bungie deal. He sort of said, just briefly, we should expect more when it comes to future PlayStation acquisitions. And sort of said he also talked about Sony's ambition to grow its live services and grow beyond PlayStation's historic console heartland. And I guess that can be seen in obviously the upcoming Uncharted movie, The Last of Us TV series, the Ghost of Tsushima movie. Yeah, so obviously expanding their IPs and their brands beyond just games. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. This has been a pretty big war, and I think it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger in terms of what's happening in the space. Yeah, it's kind of crazy what's happening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't like all this consolidation. It's not good.
No,
it's not good at all.
It's pretty funny today, though. I was looking on Twitter after all the news had come out, and it was like, "But have you heard of Embracer Group?" And I was like, "Who the fuck?" And I was like,
"You haven't heard of Embracer?
Yeah,
they've been buying studios left and right too."
I had no clue who the heck they were, and they own THQ Nordic. They own Saber Interactive.
Yep.
They own Koch Media, which is like Deep Silver. Raven's Court. They've got Gearbox. Easy Brain, Dark Horse, Coffee Stain. Yep. It's crazy.
Yeah, bro. They're like, the best way to describe them is they are the double A the double A like head honchos. They own like all the double A studios.
It's insane. Like if I'm wanting to acquire like a company, that's the one I'm going after, bro. They've got everything. Like, could you imagine like a Borderlands exclusive? Console exclusive?
Oh, like buy Embracer Group?
Yeah.
No, you can't. That's Monopoly.
That's Monopoly.
No, for real.
Oh.
I think I know for sure Microsoft can't. That's Monopoly as fuck. Like, Sony might be able to, but...
So their value is 27 billion krone.
So about 17 Australian dollars, right?
That's correct.
Okay, but the problem is, did you hear how many things you said that are underneath it?
Yeah, it's $3 billion is their value, apparently. So
$3 billion?
So that's the same value. No. So let's compare that to the value of what they've just paid for Bungie.
Oh, no. Oh god. Is
that insane?
I hope they don't get bought.
That's the market right there.
That sucks.
Oh, they also own Dark Horse Comics.
They do. They do. I don't know. Yeah, fuck. I really hope they don't want to be purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope that is the case.
Yeah.
Because that's just, there's so much already under them that if they were to get bought by one of the others, like that's like more IP than the Activision purchase, though.
That is so much IP.
Yeah.
So much IP. Like, THQ Nordic alone have a bunch, and then Saber's got a bunch. Obviously, Dark Horse would be a solid one for Sony with their multimedia endeavors.
Yeah. I hope that stays out in clear water, because that would be awful, I think. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I know Microsoft for a fact would not be allowed to buy them, so only Sony could make that acquisition. Or, God forbid, Amazon or Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised to see that being bought by either one of them. As well. Because we got to think about them now too. Like, remember, Microsoft doesn't even see Sony's competition anymore. They're more worried about Netflix and Amazon.
They're going up the chain.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we need to be careful of them coming down the chain, because it's going to look real messy once Netflix and Amazon
do their
start
stuff.
buying, like seeing what Microsoft's doing. They're like, yeah, wait, we're fucking rich. Wait a minute. I actually commend Amazon for doing the grassroots approach. How do you feel about that? Like, actually being like, hey, we're going to form some studios instead of buying them, and then go, you know what, let's just make some games and see how they go.
It's great. It's interesting on that chat, because like obviously Amazon famously had that game which like they built and shut down, kind of like on the online game preservation chat previously. But you know, it's cool to see that like they are going that original like third party approach, obviously getting their own studios like Glowmade and stuff like that, and obviously their game Lost Ark, which is coming this year.
Well, they're publishing that.
Publishing that. Like obviously Amazon's got fuck off money. Like they could blow anyone out of the water. It'll be really interesting to see how that takes place, and what happens with it all. There's a lot to happen in the acquisition space. Like we're in February now. I don't think people realize that. This is 2022 and we're in February.
It's crazy. Like, news is usually dead for like the first 3 months of the year. It's like unprecedented. This is the craziest timeline for games.
I'm very keen to see what happens with everything. Chances are we'll be back with a new podcast next week to tell you what's happened.
Holy shit. God, I hope it stops.
I think we might leave it at that, because
we should, because it's been a long one already. Sorry guys, NFT news next week. We've got some bangers in there. We'll leave it in there, and we'll open with NFT news next week. By then, I'm sure we've got another 8 stories to add into what we already have. But
I think we
are running a little long.
We might just whip through some of these quick points. This one, kind of small news. Sega is no longer making arcade games, and their name will be removed from all arcade branches in Japan as part of a rebrand. Not really much to say. Very sad. Nintendo has taken down a YouTube channel with 1,300 copyright strikes, as they've sort of just put all this Nintendo-based music on their channel. Because you can't listen to Nintendo music on Spotify or other streaming services, this guy's channel had posted all of the music for you to listen to. Obviously, Nintendo not very happy with people using their content without their permission. It wasn't even monetized, which is the sad thing too. But they've obviously just whacked him with a couple of DMCA's.
Couple.
Yeah, couple. It's
Couple.
the most in history for a single one. So Nintendo's just looked at his channel and gone, well, yeah, we ain't happy about that. Down you go.
Dude, I'm surprised once it didn't hit like the 100 mark, the channel just didn't delete itself.
Totally. You'd think that YouTube would have like a fail safe in there where it's like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo got a Nintendo.
Yep.
In that
they sure
sense.
do.
And I guess another quick... Actually, we can do NFT news real quick. But before we jump to that, Wordle has been purchased by the New York Times for 7 figures. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen Wordle. It's the 5-letter game that everyone plays every day just to get their little brain challenge going on. It's crazy to think that a game like that has gone for seven figures. Sorry, so obviously undisclosed amount, but high amount.
Is it?
Hey,
That's not surprising to me at all.
you reckon?
That game's huge, man. Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
Obviously, yeah. Eeenaa and I were speaking about this just a tad before, but monetization opportunities have kind of grown exponentially for that. So expect to see half pages and skyscraper banners on the sides of the page within the coming weeks. I really wonder how it's going to affect popularity, if it grows or dies.
Oh, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, New York Times is gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, totally.
Because they're gonna monetize it.
Yeah.
The guy who made it was like, oh, I'll never monetize it. And he's like, well, I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm gonna sell it. And it's like, cool, fair enough. But then New York Times said for the time being, it will be free.
Yeah.
And anytime you read for the time being, you got to read that in 3 months, it's going to cost money to play it, or have an active subscription to New York Times to play it. And which means, no one's going to fucking do that, which means they just spent millions of dollars for no reason, which is what I love, actually. I love when companies make dumb decisions. It's my favorite part of the day. Because it's just like, dude, I love when big companies just waste money. It's just so good.
Like a Vine purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. And obviously our favorite part of the week, our NFT trash talking news.
We should save this, bro.
You want to save this?
Because I want to go into full laughing hysteria, full stories with these. So let's save this for the next one.
All right,
for sure.
We'll save that one then. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this podcast. It's been, as Eeenaa has said, a pretty big one. We'll probably be back with it in the next week or two with some new acquisition news.
There's gonna be some bullshit.
But
if not,
Amazon's gonna buy Netflix, who's gonna buy Microsoft. It's gonna really take off. But we really hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll obviously stick around for a bit more for post show, but if you have enjoyed, please be sure to not leave without leaving a like. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.